Would you look at that? We're live. And I look mega scruffy. I just got home from work, so yeah, I guess we're going to have to just deal with it. Looking rough. Oh, the gray is really showing through today. Not good. I'm going to have to clean that up. I was just checking out an order that I have of some tackle coming in for the spring. And we are live for March. I do apologize that we weren't live in February. I tried. I really did. I was fishing the Grand River, ice fishing, with Big Fish Angler Chad. We made 3 attempts while we were on the ice to do the live stream. It would start and then fail. We had a signal to literally do everything except live stream. So we weren't able to get it to work. So I apologize for that. We missed February, but here we are in March. We got a few topics to go over with some things that have happened, things that are happening. Oh, look at that. There's Galen from ONT Carpin. Good to see you, Galen. We'll see more of Galen later in the year. I have to go to Peterborough. I have to fish with Galen and Dan and some of the other locals up there. We have to do some underwater stuff because Galen does the best underwater stuff. And I don't have an underwater camera. Dave, good afternoon. So yeah, sorry about missing February. We just couldn't get the stream to work on the river. We tried. But that kind of brings me up to kind of where we are now. So since January, when we would have done our last live stream, I was doing a lot of trout fishing at that point. Dave was doing a lot of trout fishing, and we were doing really, really well. Right after that live stream, pretty much everything went into freeze up, and I switched over to ice fishing. I did purchase a new hut this year. I finally got the hut I've always wanted, a flip over hut. And I'm so sick of the hub style. You know, they have their place. They can be comfortable. I had no idea a flip over hut can be as comfortable as the one is that I have. I picked up the Otter X Over cabin, and I did try to film a review video of it. It did not go well. I just kind of like tripped over my own words and couldn't string a sentence together properly, and I was catching fish, you know, throughout the whole thing, so I wasn't really paying attention either. Dave Newman there, he has seen it. I actually was on the ice next to Dave a couple of times this season, and yeah, I absolutely love the hut. It's fantastic. I have a bunch of stuff I picked up to do some mods to it. It is an insulated hut. It's mega warm. Like, you put the heater on there, you can't run the heater steady. You get cooked out of there very quickly. It's got this really neat setup with the bars that kind of come out on the angle here. You can actually move them down onto a lower position if you're going to be in a fixed place for a while and you're not going to be flipping it over. And that gives you access to the 2 side doors. It also has a door in the front. It's an absolutely amazing piece of kit. It's heavy. It weighs about 100 pounds without any gear in it. So I put it in the van when I bought it and assembled it, and I loaded it up with gear, threw it in the van, and it's still there. I have to take it out this afternoon because it takes up a lot of space. I have to basically clear a ton of space in the chaos that is the basement here. And it's very heavy. So it's a bit of a pain to haul out. I'm going to make a Smitty sled for next year to make it easier to get out when it's snowy. But yeah, I switched over to ice fishing for a number of weeks there. A few times just chasing perch. Got into some perch, some white bass, some good perch, not many, a lot of small ones. You know, where everybody was going out on Lake Erie for all the big perch, I'm not hauling a 100-pound sled all the way out there. It's on sketchy shove ice. I'm too fat. The gear's too heavy. and I don't keep fish. So there's no point in me pulling perch up from 60 feet of water and watching their swim bladder pop out of the throat. So I want to be able to let them go. I did make some attempts to chase some bluegill. I got into quite a few small ones, but could never really get onto any big ones. And my real target was walleye. I did a number of sessions down on the Grand River with Big Fish Angler Chad and just a couple of solo ones. I didn't get the walleye I was after. I did hook it, and I lost it right at the hole on camera. So I'm sure you guys will see that clip soon enough. But I haven't been able to get a video done actually for quite a while. I have filmed pretty much every single time I've gone out, whether it be for trout, through the fishing for perch, or walleye through the ice. Did one or two sessions of walleye from shore, and not only do I have no usable footage of anything, I haven't even been catching. The most exciting thing I've had in the last few weeks is the one day I was, as I was leaving the Grand, I pulled into the shallows and started ice fishing in the shallows just to try and get some bluegills or something before I left, so that the trip wasn't a complete blank. And I caught a rudd through the ice. It was only about that big, but I got a rudd through the ice, and it was really cool. Funny enough, the night before, I had been watching Team Action Angling, and he had a rudd through the ice. His was bigger, but him fishing the Grand as well, he was getting into crappies and stuff like that. And I thought, oh man, it would be really cool. I didn't think you could get a rudd through the ice, and there Richard did right through the ice on his video. And I was like, I want to get one. And then sure enough, the next day I get a rudd through the ice, which was really, really cool. So that was a lot of fun being able to do that. But I didn't complete the mission. I was really excited. I was really enjoying fishing through the ice because it's been a while. And I was absolutely loving my new hut, trying some heavier lures, some new tactics. I never really properly targeted walleye through the ice. And, here after a couple of attempts, I did hook one like 15 minutes in after I got there. And I lost it at the hole because I think I just got too excited and I brought it up too quick. And I literally watched the fish bump the bottom of the hole, turn, hook came out, watched the tail go back down. That was the end of it. So, yeah, I'm pretty much done ice fishing for the season. I'm going to bring the hut in. You got a mud puppy in Dane City. Yeah, we were watching mud puppies on the underwater camera in Dane City. When they were around, we couldn't get a bite from anything else. But yeah, I'm going to put the ice gear away, and I'm going to get the trout gear back out. I did get out for trout for a few hours last week, actually with Dave, and both of us blanked. So I haven't actually had a trout since the drop shot video I did, which has been, that was early January. I did that. I haven't been able to actually get a proper video filmed since then. I've filmed some segments to other things, but they're segments for videos that I'm not actually going to be filming until like spring and summer. So I've been busy filming, but not actually getting anything done that I can use right now, which is a bit of a pain. So right now Dave and I got some work to do to kind of get some things put together. John O'Connor, I see you in there. Come out to Last Mountain Lake, John. Sure, Anthony can show you some big walleye. I got big walleye here. Canadian record walleye was caught right here in the Niagara River in 1945. I want to get my local walleye. The Grand River next year, as long as we get safe ice, I think that's going to be my target. It takes me about 45 minutes to get from my house to the spot. So next winter is going to be my ice mission is walleye. I want to get multiple walleye through the ice next year. That's kind of my game plan. I'm fully set up. I got the rods, the reels, the tackle, everything's ready to go. I got the right hut, so I can fish in comfort. Even bought a new little thermos, which I absolutely love. It's probably the best thermos I've ever had. And yeah, so I've already got my ice plan for next year. Trout wise, I'm going to be switching back over to that as things start to warm up. Ice starts to get down the river. Things are going to open up a bit better for us, and the trout opportunities are going to just blow up very quickly. The rainbows and the Lakers. I don't know if there's really going to be much in the way of browns still around. More of them should move in the spring as we get the mud lines along Lake Ontario. But in terms of like getting back on the river, you know, I've been enjoying fishing the harbors, but I really want to get back on the river and get into some rainbows. You know, I still have my new Raven float reel that I haven't had a fish with yet. I want to get on the river. So kind of, yeah, that's since we did our last live, that's kind of where the fishing part of things has been and has gone and is at. In terms of other things, at the end of January, there was the annual St. Catharines Game and Fish Association tackle swap held in St. Catharines at a local high school. The gymnasium and the library and stuff is taken up with a very nice little tackle swap show. I try to go to that every year, and I absolutely love it. It's a very small show that gets packed with a lot of people. This year was a little bit smaller than last year. There wasn't quite as many vendors that to really fill it out, and I found that this year there wasn't quite the variety of things that interested me in particular. But there was a ton of stuff there. I never leave there empty-handed. As usual, I walked out of there with a pile of soft plastics, which I forgot to grab. So one vendor that I stopped at, I think it's Be My Plastics. Give me just a second. Be My Baits. So a local guy makes the soft plastics. Be My Baits. Probably, if you're local to Niagara, you've probably seen some of his products around. I do know if you ever go to, I just kicked the table. If you do go to the St. Catharines flea market every now and then, which my son and I do, there is a little tackle vendor who has a booth in the local flea market, and he has a bunch of those baits on his racks. They're good baits. Actually, the last 3 or 4 sessions I've been out where I did get out for trout and the one for walleye, I did try those baits. I wasn't catching on anything, so it's nothing against the baits in particular that I blanked, but the action and the quality of the soft plastics it's top notch. It's good stuff. So I'm looking forward to actually getting some fish with those, and I'm looking forward to getting some more variety from that guy's kind of lineup. He was showing me at the tackle swap some of the new things that he's got coming out later this year. Definitely up my alley in terms of what I like in a soft plastic. Some new minnow patterns and a few other things. So I'll be definitely getting more soft plastics from Be My Baits. There was a young lady there named Victoria who was selling small crankbaits and little hard body baits and stuff like that. I did pick up some from her. She does also have, I believe it's a Facebook page, Victoria's Baits. You know, I can't say it's top quality baits, but they're not garbage. They're definitely good little crankbaits. So if you're just a casual crankbait thrower from time to time, those are going to catch fish. So I grabbed up a few of those from her and threw them in the tackle box. I'll be using them this spring. What else? I didn't get a whole lot, but like I said, I never leave there empty-handed. I did get a few other things, just some small random items. Had my buddy Jeff there from work. He bought a rod the year before, a rod and reel combo, so he was dead set he had to go back and get another one. And sure enough, we did find a rod and reel combo for him at a wicked deal. So that's one of the great things about that show is that, yeah, there's some new stuff there, but there's also a lot of used stuff there, being a tackle swap. So you can get some really good quality stuff that's still in great shape for a really good deal. And, they also support charity as well. I believe it was the Out of the Cold charity this year that some money went to from the show. So, yeah, the St. Catharines Game and Fish Association tackle swap happened at the end of January. So as long as they have it next year, I will be there again because I absolutely loved it. Great little show. Speaking of outdoor shows, you got the big ones that come up in Toronto. There was the Spring Fishing and Boat Show, I think, that just passed. And there's one in like Bay of Quinte area going on this weekend or something like that. I'm not quite sure. I can't keep track of all of them. I don't tend to go to the bigger ones. I thought about it, but nah. But tomorrow, March 9th, if you are in Niagara, and in particular in Fort Erie, is the Niagara Outdoor Show that has been going for like 20 years or something like that. I have been to that show in the past, and I really enjoyed it. It's another very small show. It's at the Fort Erie Leisureplex tomorrow, starting at, I think, 9 a.m., goes till 2 p.m. It's very similar to the tackle swap in St. Catharines. This one covers a little bit more overall outdoor oriented. So there's going to be some, I think there's a wood carver, there's a gun dealer, some people related to like the hunting and hiking kind of thing. There is obviously fishing stuff there as well, but it's more of an overall outdoor show rather than just specifically fishing. So there is a little bit more variety there for people who like a few other things as well. I have not been to that show for a few years. It always falls on a weekend, much like this weekend, that I work. If I work the Saturday, I try to make a point of fishing the Sunday. And this Fort Erie show that happens tomorrow, the Fort Erie or the Niagara Outdoor Show, happens on the Sunday that I have for fishing. And usually the weather's decent, fish are biting. I'm trying to get on top of that, filming and whatnot. So I missed the show. So it's been probably 5 years. I think it was 2019 was the last one I went to. And when I was there, I bought like bags of soft plastic tube jigs that I'm literally just running out of now. So just this past October, the tube jigs that I was using in the brown trout, the jigs for brown trout video, the tube jigs that I had the brown trout on during the birthday session, those tube jigs were actually purchased from a vendor at the Niagara Outdoor Show in 2019. I'm down to I got like 5 left of that one particular pattern. I'm hoping that vendor is going to be there and they have a similar one for me because I need more. But yeah, it's been a few years and I've been looking forward to going back to that show, just hoping I would have the time. Well, guess what? I've not been catching fish lately. I'm on a run of blanks and I'm not getting much else done. Tomorrow's my day to fish, but the show doesn't start till 9. And that gives me we got 2 hours that I could fish, maybe 3 hours I could fish before the show, and maybe an hour or two after I leave it. So I'm going to try and do both tomorrow. I'm going to try and do a little bit of fishing, pop into the Niagara Outdoor Show at the Fort Erie Leisureplex once they open. I think it's like $5 to get in. I don't think it's much more than that. It might have gone up. I don't know. But it was always, more than affordable to get in. And there's cool stuff. So their social media has been blowing up all week with all the different vendors. It sounds like it's a much bigger show than it used to be. So I'm actually quite excited and looking forward to going to that tomorrow. And then, hopefully I'll catch fish tomorrow as well. Grimy Fishing, good to see you. So yeah, right now, that's kind of where my mode is. I've not been picking up much new stuff, a couple things here and there. I do have an order coming from Spain with some match fishing equipment, more tackle, and then a rubberized pan net, because the pan nets that I've been using, we're finding that the little spikes on the catfish and the dorsal fins of some of the smaller carp have been getting caught up in the mesh of the nets, and it's been a real problem. And I had 2 pan nets. One of them I pretty much cut up and filled with holes, just trying to safely get the fish out of them. I don't want to deal with that this year, so I got a rubberized one, so that problem should be eliminated. Speaking of the match fishing, I've got a few other things that are on their way. They're like small things that I got from like Temu, super dirt cheap stuff, but things to kind of like set up my swim during a match and make it a little bit more comfortable. Different stands for my rods, the segments for my pole, to keep everything kind of organized. That way everything's to hand and I don't have to kind of dig around or lean or reach. Still need a seat box. Haven't figured that one out yet, because to get a new one or even a used one over here, the shipping is a lot of money. So I'm still working on that, but I got some match gear coming to help improve my quality of match angling. And for those of you who are either considering a little bit of match fishing this season here in the local Niagara area, or if you've already been out with our local club, Match Angling Club of Ontario United, I think is the full mouthful of a name. On our Facebook page, on the Facebook page for the Match Club, is a schedule. So last year, one of the biggest problems was that, it would finally be decided for a match to happen on a Sunday, but it would be decided on the Wednesday. People don't have enough time to plan ahead properly for that. So one of the things that was done kind of at the end of last season, there was a get-together at a restaurant not far from here, I think Grimsby area. I wasn't able to make it to that, but there was a get-together of a bunch of the anglers from the Match Club, and collectively they came up with a schedule and locations to fit that schedule. On top of that, there will be other like little fish-in matches that go in between, but there is an official schedule and a system that they're going to follow, I think, with points for the end of the season. So if the local Match Club is something you want to get into around here, go to the Facebook page for Match Angling Club of Ontario United, and the schedule is there listed in one of the posts, so that you kind of know where people are going to be when. The Immigration Bureau just called you and you're being deported. Well, I guess it's a good thing that the internet is global and you can just follow along from wherever. So, yeah. Sorry. Bye. But at least you can still be in the chat next month. I don't follow that political crap. So I don't know what's going on. I see the happy faces, so I know it's a joke. But yeah, the Match Club kind of things are getting underway. There is a schedule. So that, it's a spam call. Nice. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I've been tinkering with some of my match gear that I didn't get to use a whole lot of last year. So I'm kind of excited to get back onto the whole match thing. That's going to be fun this season. So yeah, check the schedule out if you want to get in on a few matches. And then, like I said, if you follow the Facebook page, there will be some kind of like in-between matches that happen in a few other places throughout the season. You'll see I've got the new Canadian Carp Society shirt for 2025. Pro memberships you get your shirt. This is actually a really nice one. I really like this one for this year. If you are a Canadian Carp Society member, now is the time that kind of renewals start coming up as we're kind of in February and March. Make sure that all your payment information is up to date on your account so that it goes through uninterrupted and there's no hassles. The season is going to be picking up very soon, especially with these warm weather trends we're getting. Seems like every Wednesday is like plus 12 degrees, and then it drops down to like -5 when I have a day off on the weekend. But as things start to improve outside, we're going to have a lot more carpers out on the bank and a lot more posts and information and articles and stuff coming through on the Canadian Carp Society website. So if you are a member, make sure your stuff is up to date and you can keep in tune with exactly what's happening as it's happening. If you are not a member and it's something that you're thinking about, head over to the Canadian Carp Society website, see what it's all about. There's lots of people that are members that are on social media. Chances are, if you're part of the carp community, you know somebody who is a member. Talk to them about what their thoughts are on their membership and join up. Now is the perfect time to join up, get caught up with kind of what went on the last few seasons and, you know, how all the posts are with what people are describing and talking about. I guarantee you there's something there that's going to improve your season this year that you may have missed out on. Guarantee it. Just join up, check out the site. It will make you, it will give you that opportunity to learn something new and make you a better carp angler overall. Guaranteed. So yeah, overall, I have to say, kind of since end of November, when I kind of jumped back onto the trout fishing thing, and as the winter has gone on and I got to do some ice fishing, it certainly brought back a renewed sense of love for my fishing, which I'd been kind of getting away from unintentionally, of course, over the last couple of years. You know, I've been finding that I've been quite down through the summers, which is really weird. You'd think you'd be down through the winter and up through the summer, but it's been the opposite. The last few summers, I've really struggled to drag myself out of the house to go fishing. I've not enjoyed my fishing as much through the summers. And, you know, October will roll around. I start to do a little bit better. And then I drop back into a slump. I have been occupying my downtime when I'm not fishing with other non-fishing related projects that I'm working on that I'm sure I'll announce at a later date, but it's all in that part of the basement. And I'm enjoying getting back into that. It's been a while. I'm having fun with that. So despite the fact that I've kind of been sick for weeks and weeks with this horrible cold that just won't go away, I'm really starting to improve now. The last couple of days have probably been the best days I've had since before Christmas, and feeling better on top of having that renewed kind of love for my fishing lately and really enjoying getting out and accepting the blanks without any problem. Because I got to go out and do something different, something new, or do something I haven't done in a long time. Definitely a renewed sense of joy with what I've been experiencing with my fishing. And I'm looking forward to actually getting out again. So, like, yeah, tomorrow we're going to pop down to the Niagara Outdoor Show. But if I can get a couple hours of fishing in before and after, you know, I'm actually really, really pumped about that. Really excited. Tyler, good to see you. Nice of you to pop in. So yeah, that's one of these things that I have to say. I'm actually really excited for fishing this year. I have a lot of ideas. Dave and I talk about ideas all the time that we never get to. So many things we want to do and we never finish or never start. But we have this list, and I keep referring back to that list, and it's just like, you know what? Today's a good day. I'm going to go try that. And I fail miserably at it, but I tried it. So it's one of those things that, this year I'm just quite excited overall. When do these things go live? I was looking for it around noon today. Typically, when I'm home or when I can go live at noon, I do. If it's a Saturday that I work, it has to wait till I get home because I work till noon. So typically, I try my best to make sure they happen at noon, but sometimes they get pushed till 1, like today. Last month, I mentioned it earlier on, February, I wasn't able to get the live stream to start. I was fishing on the Grand River. I had a signal perfect to do pretty much everything. As soon as we went live, it was live for about 30 seconds and then cut out. Tried it again, same thing. Live for about 30 seconds, cut out. Couldn't get it to work. I think we tried 3 times. So I wasn't able to do the February one. I was really trying to do it from the ice hut, and it just wouldn't work no matter what we did. So yeah, sorry that they didn't pop in around noon. I think I might just have to make a point of flat out setting the live streams to be at 1 o'clock, because that would just make more sense. But sometimes I get excited when I'm home and I have the chance to do the live stream at noon. I like to just jump on and do it at noon. So either noon or 1, it's going to be one of those times, second Saturday of the month, as long as I can get a signal to do it. I keep trying to do them from the bank. They're not working. It's driving me nuts. But at least I can get, when I'm home, I can talk to you guys then. So yeah, things are improving in terms of, me looking forward to getting out fishing. I don't get to fish with Dave very often, but we recently did an after work session where we just popped out and fished into the hours of darkness. And there wasn't really a whole lot of fishing going on. I was casting, wasn't really paying attention. But it was just good to catch up and, shoot the breeze with Dave. Then again, last weekend before work, he stopped in where I was fishing and we fished together for a couple hours there. I was blanking. There was tons of ice in the water. It was really making it hard to properly present a bait. It wasn't what I would say was really fun fishing, but I enjoyed it, and it was great to spend time with Dave, and we blanked hard. I only saw 1 fish caught to the 8 anglers I saw out there that day. The weather was bad, lots of ice, but one guy did get a fish, so good on him. We didn't. Happens. So yeah, I'm kind of still at this moment. I kind of still want to get my walleye, but I'm ready to kind of just jump back into the trout fishing for a while. Carp gear is pretty much always at the ready. So when I do decide to go chase some carp, it'll take me about 10 minutes notice and I can have all the carp gear that I need for a session in the van. Like I said, I just got to get the ice hut out of it right now. I'm not looking forward to bringing down the stairs. I'll tell you that right now. The match gear is getting ready for the upcoming match season. I might even go try a little bit of match style fishing next week with some of the match guys that are going to be going out to pre-fish the venue for the first match of the season, which I think starts in April. So it'll kind of give us a 2-week head start on kind of like what the venue's like, because many of us have never fished it. Overall, just there's some neat things coming along that have got me pretty pumped up, pretty excited. Looking forward to getting into some rainbows. Looking forward to getting back into some lake trout. And I'm actually, believe it or not, really looking forward to a little bit warmer weather when I can go and try and do a session for rudd. Every winter I get at least 1 big rudd, sometimes 2 or 3 when I'm fishing carp in the winter. Well, I didn't fish carp at all this winter. And certainly the conditions on the upper Niagara, it's been cold. There's been a lot of ice. So rather than try to fight through that and find open water, I just went ice fishing other places. But as the ice starts to break up and get out of the river and there's a little bit warmer weather where I can set up in one of the 2 or 3 spots that I know of where the rudd frequent, I actually have a plan to go target them specifically with some of my match gear. I have that nice little Daiwa feeder rod I bought last year. I think it's the end zone feeder rod, which was really nice. I had some catfish with it last year. I want to go get some of those big 2 and 3 pound rudd and get practice using the cage feeder and trying some of those tactics that I'm going to use in matches later in the year to get me some big rudd. I'm actually kind of pumped to try that. I've been wanting to do that, I think, since last year when I did a little bit of fishing and I just had a swarm of rudd over me, but I couldn't hook them because the baits were too big. Let's see here. Maybe I'll see you at the Niagara show if I decide it's more important than work. I did see you at the St. Catharines show, Tyler, so it would make sense that I would bump into you at this one. You never know. It might be more important. So if I see you there, I'll see you there. Do you guys draw random pegs like they do in matches in the UK? Yes. So when we have a venue selected, basically everybody turns up a little bit early to kind of look over things, say hi. It's a very pleasant club to get along with. Everybody's very friendly. We all say hi. We usually haven't seen each other for a while because not everybody is at every match. And then the pegs are figured out and kind of put into place. And then we draw for the pegs. Everything's random. And then you've got your peg. And then we'll have a designated amount of time where we can set up, a designated amount of time that we can pre-bait before the match starts. And then obviously a designated time that we can have lines in. Then we go around and I helped out with kind of the way marshaling a lot last year, which was a lot of fun because then I could really see how everybody else did and comparatively how much I need to improve in certain areas. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. It's random and I often have a bad draw. I would say I had 2 pegs last year in 2 different matches where I actually had a really good draw and I did quite well, which was still like 6th and 7th place in the matches, but I did really well. I had a couple of draws where I drew like the swim to get and bottom of the barrel, last place. Still caught fish. I've never blanked in a match for sure. But like sometimes, yeah, I've drawn like the best peg that everybody wants and can't make it happen. And I've drawn some pegs that are not typically good and I don't like it. And I've done okay. So yeah, completely random and it makes you work. It's fast paced. You only got like usually 5 or 6 hours. I think it's about 6 hours that we fish. And you've got to be on your toes. And when you can see other people around you at their pegs catching and you're not that far away, but you can't see what they're doing, it's like, okay, I've got to step this up. I've got to be prepared. I got to try something different. And yeah, it puts a rush back into that style of fishing that I miss, that competitive part. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's really good. Good group of anglers. Would love to see you catch some rudd, something no one is doing. Yeah, it's a shame that they're considered an invasive species and we're not supposed to let them go. I do hate that part of it. But if you don't see me let them go on camera, you can't prove that I did, right? But yeah, I really enjoy catching rudd. I think they're a really hard fighting fish and they're big here. Like we've got 3 and 4 pounders swimming around in this upper Niagara River and in the Welland River. There's some big rudd here and they travel in big schools of like big groups. So you can usually get a couple of big ones really quickly. And like, come on, if I can catch rudd on a 15 mil pop-up, how much better would I do if I did like a little 8 mil pop-up? Right? It's probably going to be a lot of fun. First session last night for carp. Good for you, Dave. I'm sure that will continue on now that we're getting warmer weather. These match venues, are they commercial lakes, ponds, or just stretches of water? So we don't have commercial waters. They don't exist here. What we do have is some private ponds that we can have access to, basically. Some of them are like long strips. Others are more naturally shaped. Some of them are part of campgrounds. Some of them are just on private property that we have permission to fish on. And some of them are actually like part of the wild venues that we fish. Like some of the spots on the Welland River we go to, it's just a local park that has waterfront access. So we all just draw pegs and line up along it. And like the one spot that we fish along the Welland River is actually probably one of my favorite spots. And I have yet to get a carp there. I'm the carp guy. I can't get a carp there to save my life, but I can crush on the catfish, the channel cats. I can get them no problem. But I watch literally everybody else catch carp around me, and I can't do it. So it's neat having to figure out how to catch the fish that you consider yourself best at catching. You know, I like to think that I can catch carp very consistently and pretty much everywhere I go. And when I go and fish in these matches and I have that little 6-hour window where I have to make it happen, I can't make it happen. The next day after a match, I'll go fish the upper Niagara, and in 20 minutes, I'll have a 25-pounder. But I can't even get like a 2-pounder in a match from a pond that's full of little carp. You know, so it's a lot of fun where I really have to figure out what I'm doing wrong that everybody else is getting right. You know, to try and get those weights up. And I'm excited to explore that more this year. I had a lot of fun fishing the matches last year. Really excited about it this year. Oh, this coffee is just not doing it for me today. How's everybody doing on the roll up the rim? I'm winning about 1 in every 3. I'm either getting coffees or donuts, but I'm winning pretty much 1 in every 3. Little hot tip for you: if you only get larges, you're gonna win a lot less. I always get extra large, lower volume of cups, probably the same amount of winners in them. Well, anybody else have any questions? Like, who else is getting out? Obviously, Dave Newman, we know he's been ice fishing. He's done some carp now. Who else is getting out? Grimy, I definitely saw you were posting pictures of some panfish and stuff. John O'Connor, we know you're not getting out. You got to drive across 2 provinces to get to a spot. Galen, I know you're not getting out because you've got kids climbing over your head. Who's getting out? If you're not getting out, what's that thing that you want to try this year? What's that new idea you have, or that new thing you want to chase? I'm curious. Let's get a discussion going. And what's going on? There's no Tim, there's no Doug. What's going on here? They're skipping. Waiting for the Thames to close to calm down. It's been too warm to trust the ice. Yeah, I hear you there. I wouldn't mind a trip down to the Thames this year if I can make it happen. I haven't fished it since I was a kid. So obviously I grew up in St. Thomas before I moved to Niagara in 87. So I've not been back to fish the Thames since pre-87. I don't remember any spot. I remember one spot. That's it. And I don't even think it was on the Thames. But I definitely would like to get down there and try a little bit of fishing. Dave's cousin, Corwin, I believe, fishes the Thames a lot. And I think I'm going to try and weasel in a session with him this season. But I got to message him about that because I haven't told him about it yet. I'll try and get out at least once this year for crappie. March is the best month for ice fishing. Wow, I can't talk. March is the best month for ice fishing up this way. Well, we already know Dan's been into the crappie, so you know what? Lock the boys in a closet. Leave some food for them in a bucket. They'll be fine as long as they don't fall in the bucket. Just lock them in a closet with some food. Go catch some crappies. Come back. They'll be like puppies, just excited you're back. Don't actually do that. That's horrible advice. I hope to get out in the kayak for shallow water trout, salmon in Lake Ontario. Well, we're coming up on that time, Tyler, with the mud lines that are going to start coming out of the creeks along the south shore of Lake Ontario. You know, ripping back and forth. What was it, a couple years back? We had those guys that were trolling just out from Charles Daly Park, and they were so far into the mud line that I was actually able to cast my spod right over his lines in behind his boat. He was that close. You can talk to the Battersby brothers about that because they were there and saw that happen. But, man, there's a lot of trout. I actually had a trout on a pineapple pop-up that same day, like minutes after that boat incident happened. If you go down to the Thames, you should try and catch a flathead. I thought flatheads were just in the States. We actually have flathead catfish here. How big do they get? You got me intrigued now. You're talking about flathead catfish, like the big ones that actually have a big flat head, like in Tennessee and stuff. Like that's a thing. Oh, that's another one on the list. Oh, I'm excited now. I've never caught a flathead. I'm still trying to catch a buffalo. One of the things about fishing the Grand through the ice, everybody's that's down there fishing walleye. Buffalo were coming up out of the ice that some people had caught. I may try to get down to the Grand this year to try and get my buffalo, kind of like late spring, early summer. But I know there's also some buffalo down in the Thames. So there's now a couple species that I can head down there for. I'm hoping this year is the year I finally catch a gar, and I want to finally spend some serious time trying to learn how to catch carp on purpose. So gar, I have never landed one. I have, however, hooked and fought one. Never landed it. I have been fishing and had them swim by me, like right at my feet. And I have been fishing and seen them jump like close by. I've never landed one. So a gar is also a species I've never had and is on the list. So I'm with you on that one. I would love to catch one and land it. I have an idea of where I might be able to get one this spring on a fly rod if I hit it at the right time. So I'm kind of stoked. I'm going to look for that. If you're going to spend some time seriously catching carp on purpose, pretty much everybody that's in this chat can offer you a ton of advice. Obviously, there's tons of videos out there that can help you. This channel might have a couple videos that might be of use. But yeah, when you do, we want to know about it. Make sure. I have hooked many on poppers. I'm going to try for the fly rod. That's my thought as well. So when I hooked and lost the gar that I had, I was probably only 13, 14, maybe. I don't even think I was 15, 13 or 14 years old. So we're talking over 30 years ago, like 34 years ago, something like that. It's the only time I ever actually hooked a gar. And like I played it up to the boat. I was fishing for rock bass with an AC shiner, a silver AC shiner. And I had seen them swim by, never seen a fish like it. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. Had no idea that I would ever have a chance to actually catch one. And it took the AC shiner. I had it hooked where the two trebles on the AC Shiner, one was on one side, one was on the other. So it was kind of gripped around its top jaw. And I got it up to the boat because I was just fishing out of a little aluminum. I think it was like a 16-foot of aluminum. I was finally allowed to take the aluminum out by myself. And it was up in Georgian Bay, just in behind some of the islands in an area, Dillon Cove. There's like a little general store, boat dock, fuel up station thing. That's the area, Dillon Cove, Sand Bay. Like I can literally go on Google Earth right now and go right to the rock pile where I hooked that fish, still to this day. I got it to the side of the boat, was wondering why the fish I was playing was so much bigger, because I was catching good sized rock bass, but I was fishing rock bass. All of a sudden I got this big thing. It's just fighting, and then just up, like I'm still seated, and here's the side of the aluminum boat, and I just saw these two pointy things come up onto the side and do this, and I kind of sat up and looked over the side and saw that it was a gar. So then the snout was about that long, the body was about that long. So overall, it was a good size fish, and it was the only one I had ever hooked. It was neat, and I just saw the hooks kind of wrapped around its snout the way it was. And as it thrashed, it came free. The AC Shiner went flying back behind me, and the fish swam off. And I've never hooked one again since. So this bay where Dave and I saw one, not last year, the year before, we saw one jump while we were fishing episode 3 of the Breakdown. If they're in that bay and I can get down there at the right time, I might be able to get one on the fly rod. So I'm kind of stoked about that. If you need a spot on the Grand to catch one, I can send you a waypoint. We used to catch long-nosed gar a fair bit when fishing for channel cats down in Caledonia. I know a couple spots in Caledonia. Go ahead and send me the waypoint. We'll see if it's a spot I know about or if I fished it. I definitely want to try and get a gar like right here close on the Niagara, because there's lots of them in it. You see them all the time. I've never been able to properly fish for them. Of course, now my cough is coming back because I've been talking. But yeah, buffalo, gar, I'm with you. Those are fish on my list. Flathead catfish. I am excited now. I would love to catch a flathead. So I think what I might have to do this summer is, if I have the chance to come down and fish the Thames, I'm going to have to get a hold of some of you guys to find the spot and set us all up in a spot where we have a good chance, because that could be fun. Man, again, another thing to get excited about. I really wanted to, the two fish that have been on my list for ice fishing, the whitefish and the burbot. I didn't get to go up to Lake Simcoe this year. I'm pretty sure Andrew got out a few times, but I never got that call that everything was like perfectly safe and, here's a good time to go up. But I'm still going to hold him to making sure that session happens and that I get those species. I might have to text him later and be like, dude, what's up? Why didn't you give me the call? Come on. Dave Newman, I'm going to show up to some of those match events. Well, you've been to a couple already. It's a good group. You fished. You definitely fished the one at the Castle venue. That is a really tough venue. But you were able to get into some money because you found those really tiny sunfish that were in that little shallow spot between you and I. Funny enough, we drew good pegs if the wind would have been right. The wind wasn't right and all the fish were at the other end. But yeah, Dave, come on to some more of those matches. I think you'll enjoy it. The nice thing about the matches is that for the most part, we can fish right out of the back of our car in many of the venues. The few that we do have a little bit of walk, you just need a wagon get down into the swim. A wagon and some rubber boots. So, yeah, it'll be good to see some more of those matches, Dave. Where are we at? 55 minutes. Okay. Well, I do have some things I have to do today. I want to go get a few specific lures that I want to use tomorrow morning before the tackle show, before the outdoor show. So I'm going to have to get the kid and drag him out so we can go get these specific lures that I can't find online, can't find at my local tackle shops. Nobody seems to have these. I'm going to go see if Bass Pro has them. If they don't have them, then I guess I'm SOL. I need to eat. I haven't eaten yet today. I just went to work, came home, did this. I'm definitely probably more excited now than I was when I started this live stream today, because you guys have now mentioned something that I never even thought I would ever have a chance to fish for. And it sounds like I'm gonna now, which is exciting. And I would imagine where the flatheads are, there's probably channel cats, there's probably buffalo, there's probably 2 or 3 different species of suckers. There's going to be drum and probably some chub or something like that. So there's going to be a whole slew of coarse fish that I can go after on a session chasing flatheads. So this could be a lot of fun. What lures? Well, if I told you, I'd have to kill you. It's a soft plastic. It's not a brand. I'm not looking for a specific brand. I'm looking for... Do I want to tell you, or do I want to try and actually get some and get a fish on them and then tell you? I'll tell you what, Tyler, if I see you at the outdoor show tomorrow, I'll tell you then. How's that? I'll tell you right now, I'm not looking for a specific brand. I want them to be 4 inches long. They need to be black and chartreuse, and they're soft plastic. That's all I'm going to say. I'll keep it a secret until I can catch a fish on them. They're not the only things I'm going to be using, though. I'm going to tie some bucktail jigs tonight before I fall asleep watching a movie, because I got my buddy got me a copy of the new Captain America movie, and I'm really excited to watch it. So I'm going to watch that and tie flies at the same time tonight. That's the plan. Well, I like what some of you guys got planned. I like what you guys are looking forward to. I'm excited about trying to get a couple new species this year that I've never had. What flies am I tying? I'm going to tie some bucktails. I just said that, Galen. Just get some jig heads, slap on some deer hair, some sparkle. Don't forget the time change. I'm off to work now. The time change is So it was getting light out at 10 after 6 this morning. It was getting light, like fishable light, on my way to work this morning. So that means that's going to be 10 after 7 tomorrow. So we get more light in the evenings, but less light in the morning. Well, have a good time at work, Grimy. Good to see you in here. Thanks for joining in. Luckily, my phone will do the update to the time change on its own, but that means I'm going to... I guess what? That gives me an extra hour of sleep, which I don't want because I'm going fishing. What it actually means is that it gives me an extra hour of dark in the morning when I wanted it to get light sooner. Damn it. that bites. Oh, well. So, yeah, I'm going to tie up some bucktails tonight. Probably not any streamer flies or anything like that. I have some other flies that I want to tie. I've recently resubscribed to Fly Tire magazine. Used to be a subscriber years ago. Love that magazine because you get to learn how to tie like 8 or 10 different flies in every issue. So I resubscribed to that, and I've got the newest issue that I haven't gone through yet. Just showed up the other day. So I'm going to go through that and save those flies for a little bit later date, closer to when I want to start looking for those gar in the spring. Like I said, I've got the spot set up, figured out. I just got to hit it right with the right kind of flies. And I think that should make a good, exciting video, because that's going to be like chest mounted cam, maybe one like hanging off a tree just off to the side. But that should be really good. That should be a lot of fun. If I hit that timing right, it should be exciting. Flathead catfish. That's going on the list. Where's my list? I have on Google Drive a list that Dave and I share that is the Anglerphiles idea list ongoing. Let's open that up here. We have some series that we want to get back to working on. We've got some challenges that we're working on, and then we have the other vids list. Let's go down to the bottom of that, and let's add a new one. Flathead catfish on the Thames. Oh, I have another one that I wanted to do. Did I? No, it's not on there. How do you spell ditch pickle? There we go. Catfish vid is on the other vid list, but specifically, I want to go target some channel cats at a local spot. I think people start targeting them in March and into April. I want to go try and catch me on purpose, not like incidental catch. Like I usually catch. All my biggest catfish usually come as incidental catfish. I want to go catch a 20-pound channel cat in the spring. That is kind of like a target for the spring for me. Just take a day or two out of the trout fishing, and I want to go try some, whether it be live bait or cut bait for the channel cats in this little area that they come into. I want to try and catch a 20-pounder. I'll probably be lucky to get a 10, but if I can get a 20, that's the target. So that is a video idea that is on my list that will be coming up very soon for me to try. Actually, funny enough, Tyler, your idea of fishing the shallows of Lake Ontario for trout this spring, it is on my list as well, but I won't be doing it from a kayak because I don't have one and I'm fat and I'd probably make a kayak sink. But I have Lake Ontario shallow trout April on my list. Well, thanks for letting me add something new to the list. I appreciate that. I'm looking forward to that. And when it gets around the time that I can actually try to make that work, some of you are going to get a message. Hey, where can I go for this? Can you join me? We'll set that up. For the time being now, I have to go upstairs and get my teenager off his butt, out of his bed, away from his video games and YouTube videos. And we're going to go try and get these lures that I'm looking for. And then some lunch. And then back here to tie some flies and watch Captain America, because I'm excited. I love those superhero movies. And I'm in a great mood right now, thanks to you guys. So I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you all for joining in and, engaging in the chat. I really appreciate that every time. Some great ideas and some great chatter in there, even though it's not typically as busy with the chatter that we normally get. And, obviously Tim and Doug aren't there to keep that chatter going, but some great stuff in here. Appreciate it. Thank you all for joining in. Thanks for, putting up with this being at 1:00 instead of noon. But yeah, right now I'm going to make like a tree and get out of here. So we'll see you next time.